Well, well, well. What is going on, Brother Jimmy? You all right out there, young man? All right, good deal. Good deal. Okay, you hear me? All right. Well, I wonder what the control mechanism is. Okay, I'm not sure. Oh, okay. Let's see. I can't hear nothing over here. Like I'm watching. Okay. 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 It's still calling itself a Sunday night smoke session. I wonder if it'll let me go out of this and into another account. Make sure I can see if we can hear this somewhat clearly or not. Mm-hmm.
I get so much love from every group of people. You don't get that shit from like the same type of love. Like it's so divided. You know what I'm saying? It's so much negativity. It's so fucked up the disposition of black people at the time. Um, you know what I'm saying? Like you don't experience that with the people. You just genuinely don't. Like Arabic people, they love you. White people, they love you. Chinese people, they love you. Hispanic people show love. And a segment of black people show love. But in my life, and it don't even matter like whether you conservative, Republican, Democrat, whatever like that. I can't, even people that's like black and black, you can't, most people have experienced the negativity from people that look like them. And now, this is the honest to God truth. Like the hate that you get, the reaction, it don't come from white people. Yeah, that shit is always gonna come from black people.
So, Brother Jimmy, how do you feel about that? How do you feel about what Anton just said as far as the whole it always seems to come from us, by us? so too. You know, and really, I find it super unfortunate. You know what I mean? Because that's where the majority of all of, like you said, the hate. It's not other people. It's other black people. Other black people telling you to remember, hey man, remember you're black. It's always something. You know what I mean? It's like I really wonder, do Latinos have to remember, hey, Latino, you gotta be Latino, you gotta remember that you're Asian. Are there any Asian wake up calls? I mean, we've all heard of the nigga wake up calls, and they're funny, right? But I'm just asking, does everybody else have to deal with that? I mean, it's like black people are the only people in the world, at least the American black person, where if you make a movie like Mrs. Doubtfire, you kiss the name. You know what I mean?
What you mean, man? I mean, Hispanic people stick together, man.
They stick together. Asians.
Well, together, they're growing together. Oh, definitely, man. Definitely. Did you know that Hispanics are pretty more wealthy than the black community in real estate, businesses,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, it's well, I mean, think about home. Look at what used to be uh I mean it's still like that, but remember Granville Street,
Oh, yeah.
right? I mean, and it's still like that, but guess what? You start from the bottom, the Black Hills, and now we're here, right? It's
And you
it's worked out.
too much when the numbers show up.
Yeah. Well, and I think that that's the thing that I don't think a lot of people pay attention to. A lot of people, even when it came to, a lot of people focus on your credit score. Your credit score doesn't matter, right? But I don't think a lot of people understand what your income to debt ratio is, right? And this is true of a lot of people. A lot of people, especially when things start going left, you figure out that they're maxed out, right? So you end up hearing these stories. Yeah, man, this person wasn't even this. This person doesn't even have the buying power of this, and I have this. I have a, you know, 700 plus credit score, and you sound good on paper, but yet you're up to your eyeballs in debt. And I don't think that's what a lot of people get. Like, and I talk to a lot of people about this because a lot of people are like, well, one people they ain't had no good credit, they ain't had this. I said, yeah, but look at how they spend their money, right? I said, y'all got all hyped up. Oh, we $1 trillion. Yeah, you consume, you use, you spend, right? And you still don't have anything to show for it. These other people, you call them corny, but guess what? They're not wearing Balenciagas. They don't wear Amiri jeans. They never bought a pair of Robins, them ugly ass things. They never did. They wore regular shit. Their cars were paid for cash, right? And they're like 10, 15 years old. And they don't operate the same way that you do, right? Black people finance anything as long as it's $8.99. Like the 50-year mortgage, I'm surprised black people didn't jump at that. I'm surprised. A 50-year mortgage, you niggas gonna be out there with an $800,000 house that means on a 50, man, you're gonna have to be in that at least 15 to 20 before you start knocking down any of that principal. So by the time you get done, because a regular mortgage is what, 360 payments? 360 at 30 years, right?
Oh yeah, and a house that's purchased for $500,000, they're gonna end up paying $1 million.
Bro, it's gonna be way more than that. It's gonna be 1.9, maybe 2.2.
Yeah, I can see that.
By the time you're done with it, the thing that people don't get is that your property taxes, that's why you never go max on a property. Because your taxes, whether you see it or not, and we're about to see a lot of this shit happen. I've already seen stories here in Atlanta where people are terrified, right? Because, oh man, you can afford it now. Can you afford it, 2, 3 years later after your taxes go up? Right? They happen every year. Everything gets reassessed, right? That's a lot of money,
Oh yeah,
and
and I'll say this, bro. A lot of people don't understand that when a home gets evaluated or appraised, or they look at a home, the property taxes are gonna increase as soon as they purchase that home,
yeah,
because because the person who bought it before them might have bought it for $20,000, and then if they bought it, I'm sorry, $200,000, and then if they bought it for $300,000, they don't understand that the property taxes is gonna be predicted at the $300,000. And as a realtor myself, a lot of realtors don't explain that to them. They just see the taxes and they're like, "Oh yeah, this is what I'm paying." No,
no, it's not.
the previous owner paid. You're going to be paying taxes on what you just
What
bought.
you just bought, so you get 300,000. So those taxes, what are taxes in Grand Rapids run for 300,000 or 200? What is that about? Maybe 2,400 for the year, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. You'd have to see what the what do they accumulate on the $300,000 house you might end up paying. They have to break it down, so they might take the tax amount and do it at like 80,000 or something, because you don't pay on the overall value of the home.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember the term, but they break it down to like a certain percentage, but it's still like 2,400, because it'd be crazy high if they did it at 200,000. I can't remember the exact term, but
Oh yeah,
they do
like
like mathematical.
yeah, they have a way of doing it, and the only reason why I know is because when I was married, um, man, we were getting calls from the bank all the time, all the time. I had no idea, and we were getting letters, all sorts of stuff. We we didn't have the money in escrow or whatever. So one day she was like, "Hey, are you taking extra money out of the account?" I was like, "No." And then she was looking. She was like, "Wow, are we making more payments?" I'm like, I don't think so. Man, our mortgage went, because this is one of those houses that were bought in the housing crisis before everything fell out. So it was dirt cheap. It was only like what, seven, I think it was like 780, maybe 800, right? Easy. My God, I wish I still had that fucking house, right? Easy. Okay. Man, we ended up starting paying about 1,500 a month because we had to stay current with taxes. Plus, I think we were like 2 or 3 grand short, right? So they just adjusted it and put it on our mortgage. And that's why they were calling, and that's why they were this. Um, so if you're not paying attention, Can you imagine on your 50-year mortgage? You know, that went up damn near $600. Thank God we were able to cover it, but can you imagine people who are, and that's why you never, if you're okay, hey man, I'm approved for 500, man, stick to that 350, 325 mark, and you'll be just fine, right?
Well, you want to know something even worse? Is I have a book called, where is it? I have it in here really quick. It's right here, bro. I'm going to show it to you really quick.
Yeah.
It's called The Black, this word is French. It's like Borghese.
Mm-hmm.
Franklin Frazier. He was the #1 African American sociologist in 1957. And he explains how the mulatto and the African Americans were two separate communities, and how the mulatto wasn't accepted by the black people or the white people. It was his own little middle class. Because by the black people, he wasn't full black, and by the white people, he was a Negro. But that's just like one little part of the book. But the overall part of the book explains the social class of black people, and it explains how black people try to go from A to B and C or C. And one of the biggest things that black people did not focus on in them days was financial literacy. They wanted to mimic white people, and once black people were making strides, they skipped over C to try to jump to D. And there was corruption in banks, there was corruption in the economical growth of black people. And so let me give you a quick example. Let me fast forward to modern day.
Mm-hmm.
For all races, but it hit black people the hardest. In the financial crisis of 2008, people didn't know they were paying interest-only loans. So people were getting mortgages and they were getting homes. And with the financial crisis in 2008, they had $200,000 houses. They're like, okay, cool. Let me sell my house, try to get a little bit of equity out of it. And then they're like, wait a minute. I've been only paying interest for the past 10 years and they had zero equity. So one of the biggest problems in the black community is financial literacy, bro. And it goes back all the way to 1957, bro. We literally, as a black community, skipped over financial literacy, bro. And look at black people today. We literally will buy diamond chains before we'll take care of our families, bro. Did you know that you go through the hood, you look at apartments, you see nice, flashy cars. If you go to poor white neighborhoods or the suburbs, you don't see the nice cars, the flashy cars. You it's amazing because when I read this book, bro, he was studying black people because I think he died when he was like 70 something years old.
Yeah.
And he studied at the African American community from back in like the 20s all the way till, or I think he was born like 1910 or 1900 or something, all the way to the 80s. He literally explains how once black people wanted to mimic white men and mimic them, they just said, we don't give a damn. We just want to look like we're rich. And I'm gonna just like you said, bro. Once they didn't learn about mortgages and how money works, bro, niggas went slowly and just. So I'm gonna co-sign to what you said, bro. 100%, bro. And it destroyed. That's the biggest thing that destroyed the black community, besides the welfare programs and all of that stuff.
Yeah, no, and I mean that's the thing. Look, and it's funny that you're talking about the whole mimicking thing because earlier today I did a video on this lady who's very disgruntled with these young kids in their quarter zips. You know what I mean? And just the amount of negativity that this woman had for these young kids she equated it pretty much to just saying like they're playing dress up. They're playing dress up, looking professional. And I'm like, wow, can you really understand how warped you have to be to say that these young men who are, you know, I remember when we would want to get jazzed up and you want to look good. You know what I mean? And then you wear your good clothes to school, and even the teachers would be like, oh, hey, you know what? You look nice today. Are you going to be in attention? You know? Because chances are I probably would be. Right? So, you know, it's just like, at least everybody understood, like, hey, you know what? You know, you look nice, you look this. It wasn't you're trying to be necessarily white. Now, there were some instances, you know, like if you were a Abercrombie and Fitch guy, right, and you wanted to wear your open-toe sandals in the middle of the goddamn snowstorm in December, right?
Yeah, that sounds like a thing.
That's typically not what Negroes do. You got your seashell necklace choker on. All right, you got your frosted tips. You look like a Backstreet Boy. Like there were things that were definitely not culturally appropriate, I guess. But
White only.
yeah, nobody really cared. But at the same time, young lady, you're talking about quarter zip jackets, wearing good pants, nice slacks, a shirt and tie, and you're mocking them for looking like white men. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe we shouldn't just always be out here in Nike tees and Nike tech suits and Jordans, right? I mean, you know, there's like you said, there's levels to this stuff. Like if you're a realtor, if you're a car salesman, if you're a doctor, right? These guys underneath those scrubs, they're actually dressed pretty decently, right? They wear their little lab coat when they need to. I don't get that. Yeah, but we're so bound by whatever it is that we think that we're programmed to believe what blackness is. And I think it's a really harsh detriment. And even like Anton saying, we love the most ignorant shit about the culture, and we just take that as, oh, well, that's, you know, that's what we should be. Like, no, that you don't have to be that. I remember, and look, I voted for Barack twice. I can clearly see the error of my ways. All right. Great idea, right? Phenomenal idea because you've never seen that before. But even then, Barack was what? A clean cut Negro, right? Very clean cut. He wasn't all out here, all in the videos, you know, looking stupid, sounding dumb. I mean, and that's the whole thing. If Barack Obama would have behaved like Jasmine Crockett, his black ass never would have made it, right? He never would have made it. Those are facts. It was 2008. There, you were not going to get these people to go ahead and vote for you, right? However, it's so different now. And I don't like the fact that the bar has to be so low, right? And the bar is low. It's been getting lower. I think I just saw in Pennsylvania now they have a bill. They have a bill that says, you know, yeah, hair can't be racially discriminated over. I said, what the fuck? And I'm just like, have you niggas seen Philly? Right? Like, Philly is not exactly nice. And this is what you're worried about?
No.
Yeah, like, dude, Philly really looks like Thriller, right? You got people out there with a Fenty lean.
Black women, bro.
Bro, it's sad. It's super sad, and it does not need to be this way yet. This is this is the agenda that people feel comfortable pushing, and I think it's disruptive and ignorant. I don't know.
I, I would say that's the biggest problem, and I don't mean to degrade anybody. You know what I'm saying? But when you have an entire culture that's being ran by women, that's not good, bro. That's not good. You know? That's not good. Especially when it's them versus the men. It's not them with the men. It's them versus the men. It's
Versus,
them trying to be masculine. It's them trying to be Jasmine Crockett. It's them, you know, um, telling their sons it's okay to be gay. Like a woman cannot raise a boy to be a man. Like there's no way that you can do that. She can try to raise her son to be um, a strong boy, but he has to experience things that a man will teach him, and they cannot do that, bro. There's no way they can do that. And the black community, bro, that's one of the biggest problems. And politicians for the black community, the boys from the black community, like even that Roland Martin nigga, he's trash. He wears shirts that say vote like a black woman. Bro, what the hell do you mean, bro? Like, why is it black women, black women, black women, black women, bro? Like, who wants that alpha woman? They will not get along with a man. And it's funny because I seen a podcast the other day. I don't know if you know the nigga, but he's like a bigger dude. I can't remember his name, but he be talking and he presses the button that like ding,
yeah, I know you're talking.
yeah, bro, it's that nigga. And he said, now let me ask you a question. What if a man came up to you and he said, hey baby, you look good, I like your weave. You look, you know what I'm saying? And he was giving off the same energy as you. And then he said, I want to take you on a date. Would you go on a date with him? And the woman was like, no. And he was like, okay. So when you come at a man with masculine energy, why would he want to go on a date with you? And then he hit her with a bing, bing, man, I was dying laughing at that nigga, bro. And that's the problem in our communities, bro.
Yeah,
Women
it's
do the same thing, bro.
well, and that's the whole thing. Look, societies have ran the same way for the last 3,000 years. Why? Nobody's that different. Nobody's that special. We're not the X-Men, right? Like you don't have superpowers. The only thing that we need to be focused on is actually just doing good. Just being good, being better about everything it is that we do. That's all. That's it and that's all. Right? But at the same time, we have some people out here that, dude, it is just not, it's not clicking. Like, even a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, even a little bit. And we get people, uh, I always say that the people that you're going to have to be comfortable leaving uh, essentially behind because if not, God bless you, right? Because I don't think people get it. Everybody's tired of getting their asses kicked. But the one thing that we can't keep doing is we can't keep letting identity politics run absolutely every aspect of our lives. Like, if you remove the history, what else do black people have, right? If you remove the history, because nobody else, even as bad as the Holocaust was, well, sometimes you do hear, you do hear those people say how bad everything was, especially when somebody said something that they don't agree with. So let me remove those people. Some people, especially here on YouTube, they call them small hats. Praise God. No shade. We love everybody, but still. Um, if you remove the history, right, what else do you have to stand on, right? Because I've had people tell me, no, if we take everything that we contributed to this country, they wouldn't have nothing. I'm like, right, and I'm not here to debate you with that, right? I'm just saying, Jay-Z said, I heard motherfuckers saying they made Hov. Heard Hov say, okay, so make another Hov. Are you able to do that? Or are you going to be like Dame Dash, bitching from the sidelines about the shit that you used to be a whole life sentence ago, 25 years ago, 30 years ago? That's when you started The Rock, right? You were very successful 5 years later. You were $100 million company. Then you got to about $200-300 million. You were like a big time record label, like Berry Gordy status. And then 20 years happened, so you didn't even make it a full 10. It was from what, 96 to like 2004, 2005, because Jay was out of there after that. Then he went to Def Jam, right? And you haven't done nothing since. And I love Dame. I think he's great. I really, truly do. But I think that speaks more to what Jay-Z's capability was versus Dame, right? Because again, you could have did anything else. And sometimes this is what the danger is when when you've worked by and for yourself for such a long time. You can't go back. But me, I would have. I'm not ever going to not have, right? You might not have millions of dollars a year, but what about 500,000, right? You still live a very decent life. It's not private yacht money, but guess what? You're still in that 1%, right? 1%. Like, big dog, what are we talking? I mean, come on, man. You got Grant Cardone. If I only made $400,000 a year, I am a failure. Okay. And I get it because that is a very rich white man, right? But he understands how things move. I guarantee if he had to take a step back and he only made 400,000 for like 2-3 years because he lost it all and he had to rebuild, he's not going back to that, right? But he's going to put every dollar that he has of that 400,000 into making sure that he never goes back, right?
Yeah.
That's the difference. Nah, niggas, you gonna be up there. Yeah, man, I had to, took a couple trips. I had to do this. You gonna be up there. You gonna be up there tricking off like Shannon All right, thinking you did something with an Instagram baddie. All right, paying for cheeks. I mean, these are things culturally. I don't think that people get. That's why I coined the term. Niggas have boxolitis. Ever since you pop out, you spend the rest of your life trying to get back to the box, right? You got to manage your boxolitis effectively. Oh Jesus!
Once you get out of that and see what life is, your life will change.
Yeah, man. Look, it, it's crazy too, man. That's why I love listening to Anton, because Anton will tell you when he went broke, right? He tells you all these amazing stories, and the best part is that it's all true.
Oh yeah, I met him.
Yeah, he's a dope guy. It's all true. He's hilarious, and I don't think people get it as far as how down to earth he really is. You know, he got the Detroit swag. I don't think people understand that. He don't think he's better than nobody. He's just Anton. When you understand how life works, things just get different. You know, and you can tell the
I
people who
asked
get
him
it.
when I was in Detroit, um, how much you charge for a podcast? He said, I don't charge. Just get a hold of my people.
Yeah,
And yeah, you know the rest, the issues I've been having with that, but oh,
hey
he's a
man.
good dude, man. He's a great dude.
Oh yeah, I 100%. I definitely believe that. Look, man. Look, we're all figuring it out all at the same time. You know what I mean? But there's definitely enough to where you know, look, this is the future. You know what I mean? Like everybody can do this. This shit is for everybody, and people have decentralized the media, and people really like authenticity. You know, what's your authentic take on a lot of different subjects? And I mean, like I said, here at the Terrible People podcast, it's just having the balls to call balls and strikes the same. You know, Roland Martin, I mean, God bless him, loud and wrong, often, right? Uh, our culture, after what I saw last week with that mom in her 30s getting beat down. I mean, the first person who threw the punch that knocked that grown woman down was like a big ass eighth grader. That was an eighth grade girl, bro. She was in like seventh or eighth grade because I see the rest of the kids. I'm like, why are you harassing a 9-year old? Right? Because that was a little boy. You know what I mean? He wasn't nowhere near. I thought, okay, well, maybe these are all little kids, but she was the biggest one. And then you had all these other kids that was there. You know what I mean? So that shit went all the way left real quick. And then that half-assed apology from the mom, and then to find out that her mama, I mean, not that we all didn't assume it anyways, but she got exposed for just being exactly what we thought she was, a goddamn hood rat. And that's exactly why your child is out here behaving the way they behave. It's a direct reflection of everything it is that you've shown. Yeah. Your kids are your report card.
Yeah, we knew that.
Oh yeah. And it's just it's really too bad because you know I don't like things that are performative. I like things that are think that everything now is so performative and everything has to be so over the top, and it's really sad. It is super sad. You know, I mean, God bless people, but no, that was a whole ugly
All
situation.
we can do is hope and pray. That's all we can do, bro. It's hope and pray, man. And I got my faith in God, so
Well, I
you
do
know,
too. And the
hope and
best
pray.
part is, like I said, when you see those young boys in them quarter zips, you know, it's like, hey, I don't, believe it or not, I don't think these little niggas is trying to rob me, right? Not in the quarter zips, quarter zip gang, but when I see them niggas out there, them shiesties, man,
Most of them ain't, bro. Most of them ain't about nothing, bro.
most of them are actually decent kids. First, let me just go ahead and say that. But you do realize that there is a image problem with them goddamn shiesties, right?
That's exactly what it is, bro. It's an
It's an
image problem.
image problem.
And because, yes, and because the ones who do it have the same image, it makes them all look bad. Like them stupid little ski masks, or you know what I mean. So even if it's a small percentage, like you know, let's say that people are eating Frosted Flakes cereal, and only 2%, 3%, 5%, even 8% of the Frosted Flakes cereal gets a freaking disease in it. You know how many people are going to stop eating Frosted Flakes?
Oh,
So
bro,
if
overnight.
5% of the so if 5% of the YNs are robbing, shooting, and killing and stealing, then it makes the other 95% who just want to look cool. It makes them all look bad.
Yeah, and that's the whole thing too, because it's part of being young, and that's exactly why even the young nephew.
That
Oh,
fathers need to be around.
yeah, I want one of those. I'm like, I just look at him. I'm like, no. Why do you want that? I think it's cool. I'm like, well, I think it's stupid, right? Like, but he doesn't get it because he's so young. Like, nah, we're gonna save your life at a very early age. You're not gonna be doing what the rest of these Negroes are doing. Okay? Like, that ain't gonna work for me. You know, I'm not one for that. I believe in trying to steer these kids. I remember what was it? Even because back in the day, way back in the day, my grandfather, with the afro, right? It couldn't be so big. You you could have it, but you wasn't gonna have one. Because
Way, way back.
yeah, if it was too goddamn big, you're one of them revolutionary ass niggas. You know what I mean? You could have had that big ass afro way the hell out in Wyoming. Not back then. Hell no. Nah. You could have the nice short one, the respectable one. If you out here looking
Right,
like this damn microphone, nah, nigga, nah.
right.
Wyoming PD back then. Excuse me. Yeah, nah, man, that shit's funny as fuck, bro. Yeah, but it's
It
an
is,
image.
bro.
It's an image. It is an image.
The thing is, bro, the biggest problem is ain't no sex, man. Like my dad, you know, he was like, you can wear them clothes, but you know, tough. Like, he fans up, you know what I'm saying? And when he wasn't around, once he stopped being around is when I really turned into that kid because he went to prison.
Yeah.
He didn't go to prison until later when he started doing drugs and stuff. But, that's why father played such a big role, bro. Just like a lion pride, you know what I mean? Or pride of lions. Your father, the male plays that role, and then, once they get old enough, they get kicked out of the pride, you know what I mean?
Well, and that's the whole thing too. Like I think we really need to look at what it is that these kids, because I don't have them yet, but how you pour into these kids, because again, maybe getting them out the house at 18. There's a lot of things that maybe we should not be doing. You know what I mean? Like maybe we should be encouraging these kids, hey, take a couple years, go to regular community college. Okay? And maybe, again, financial literacy, maybe we need to be talking to these kids a little bit more about how much all this shit costs and how much they can expect to make, right? Because let's face it, why does everybody want to go to school in the first place? It ain't because you want to go to school, it's because you want to be out from underneath your parents' grip. You want to go experience life. That's what it is. Imagine that. But you gotta pay, yeah, $44,000 a year in order to do it. Does that sound like a good business transaction? And for the first 2 years, you're taking bullshit. You're not even taking the good classes. You take English 101 at CC for how much credit hour? 430 a credit hour. Man, you better go get that shit. Man, that's like $2,000 right there. And you can have a full course. Yeah, that's just to say that you went. That's a little semester right there. You can work you can do whatever you want. That shit ain't even gonna be $5,000. But no, man, I wanted the college experience.
And then you gotta go make sure you go to every class.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, dog, you out here, people. And this is where the parenting definitely, I think in some aspects, people have been great letting their kids make decisions for themselves. Unfortunately, I think they've been the wrong goddamn decisions, right? And when I say that, it's just like you know what I mean? Like you'll you'll let some little girl go ahead and do some wild shit. I, I remember I seen one of my little cousins with the tattoo between her jugs. All I did was just look. Like, oh, that's new. Oh yeah, man. Like, I don't want to fucking hear it. What is that? A Target? Why did you do this? This is what you're spending money on. I look at him. Yeah, okay. Okay. It sounds good. It looks good now. Guess what? After you have kids, after the titties start sliding into each other, they droop a little bit more. That Cindy, you start to sag. I want you to remember how good it looks now. All right, take a picture of it. I'll be like, Jesus, you know. I'll be
When
like,
our generation gets older,
oh, bro, we're fucked. We are absolutely fucked. I mean, the only difference is we are we're social media savvy because we made it, right? But as far everything
We gotta
else,
talk about that, bro. We gotta talk about that on another one, bro.
yeah,
We gotta talk about that on another one.
we're
I got a
fucked.
feeling that yeah, we gotta talk about social media on another one, man. 'Cause that, let's save that one, bro.
Yeah,
Save that one.
yo, dog, it's gonna be wild, man. So in short, brother, man, let you close out. Is there anything else that you wanted to add?
Nah, man, I think we had a good one. I think we had a powerful one, man. I hope people listen. I hope they pay attention to the facts, the statistics. You know what I mean? Get ready for the one on social media because that's a whole other one, man. If we got to talking about the social media, bro, man, I would say get ready for the social media one
I,
because I think we're going hard on that one, bro. So,
I think
um,
that one's gonna be fun too. That's
I just, yeah, that one will be fun. And I just hope that with the amount of black people who are starting podcasts and who are starting to come together, black conservatives who are coming together, black people who are, speaking up, that I hope will start to make a change. Because you're seeing people who are saying, I'm a Democrat. You know, I got a YouTube I made a while ago leaving the Democratic Party. I was a diehard Democrat for a long time. And I'm just happy to see people who are waking up because of advancements in technology. It's good to see so many people. And, even though it hasn't went to 50%, even to be able to see 5, 6, 7%, that's thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of people who can speak up. So
I
that's
I
all I'm saying.
I think as we get into 2030 and beyond, I think those numbers are going to. I don't think it's going to be 92 and 79%. I think this is the last era of that. It's never going to happen again. It's done. It's done because, like you said, um, we're not going for it. I mean, as soon as I started seeing Brother Roland openly not tell the truth about certain things, that's when I started looking at him different. I'm like, hey, yo, man, because Uncle Roro with his little, he got the shaft music in there, wow, wow, wow. I mean, it's still the same format and things like that. And I did appreciate his, I appreciated how he could articulate what he thought was going on. However, knowing that some of the shit that he was saying was not right, and yet he still opted to say it, that's when I really looked at him differently. Much like, Jasmine Crockett doing the Vanilla Ice. No, man, theirs goes ding, 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 ding. Mine goes ding, 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 ding. Nigga, it's the same goddamn song. It's Under Pressure. Stop lying. You stole this goddamn song. Oh, I wasn't talking about that Jeffrey Epstein. I was talking about another Jeff. Well, then, bitch, why'd you say his name? You said it because you wanted to silence somebody and make other people feel bad about, well, man, they killed Jeffrey Epstein. Okay, so you mean to tell me that O.J. Simpson isn't your uncle? Think about that. Think about how many different O.J. Simpsons there actually are. Be like, Jasmine, her uncle's O.J. Simpson. Be like, oh, so you that killed that white woman? Oh no, actually, not him, but Then why did you say it? You said it for a reason, idiot. I definitely think people are. That's why I sent that thing to you earlier. Even that white girl tore her up. I said, Jesus.
Yeah, I seen that. Yeah.
No, this is like this shit is cringe. This shit is cringe. You'd be like, Jesus. But nah, it's look, man. Nobody else votes like this. Nobody. Not Asians, not Latinos. And for whatever reason, they don't get their Asian card, don't get their Latino card being revoked. They just, for whatever reason, everybody seems to understand, except when it comes to black people. Black people. That's why that plantation shit is real. You just want to stay on so you can get along, and niggas is gonna be out there for Thanksgiving tomorrow. Yeah, that book, man. We gotta that right there, man. That is an amazing book. We can't skip steps. No more skipping steps. Can't skip leg day. You can't be out here being all buff up top and you got the little twigs. Look like he was in a wheelchair for 15 years. Yeah, man, I got shot in the back.
Don't skip like that.
Don't skip leg day, bro. You out here looking crazy.
Exactly.
All right, young Jimmy. I think it's time. I think we did it. I'm going to tell you have a wonderful evening. All right, and I think we're going to end this stream. Okay, pimpin'.
All right, brother. I'll be ready for the next one, man.
All right,
Have some
man.
games to do.
All right, let's get it. Until the next